I have a good feeling about this, Rach.
Why move here?
Why'd we leave Nick there in the ground?
We didn't leave him. He is always with us.
Queremos darle la bienvenida a Taneli Mustonen, que es el director de Gemelo Siniestro. Así que muchas gracias, Taneli, por acompañarnos.
Gracias.
First of all, in the US, the movie premiered on some streaming platforms. So I wanted to ask you, how does it feel to know that your movie is showing on the big screen here for Colombian audiences?
Oh, I love it. And I have to mention, we got released also in the selected theater state as well. So I'm feel, I'm over the roof. I'm extremely happy. We released the film first in Finland, in my native home country, in I believe it was like beginning of April, and being and then across Europe. And actually, our film is now the on the list of the widest releases for Finnish film. I think we're on the number 3, so we have over 33 countries. That's
Wow.
That are releasing the film theatrically, and we couldn't be happier.
We have recently seen some movies use Scandinavian folk tales and myths in their stories. So I wanted to ask you if there was like any particular myth or like Finnish symbol that you wanted to use in The Twin.
Oh wow! Actually, when writing this with my colleague and my partner, Aleksi Hyvärinen, who we formed our company Done Films here 10 years ago, we actually dive into the old pagan cultures and beliefs that we have in the Nordic countries, and there's probably so many things that got picked up by us on our way. It's really hard to name a few, but I could use the example of the swing, and that was something that we really believe. And here in Finland, the Christianity is rather we call it is rather thin when it comes to our history. So we have a really rich and you could write so many awesome stories about the pagan cultures that we have and the old beliefs that we have with our ancestry and our forest and there's just so much, but it's really hard to just pick one.
So we all know, of course, all the negative implications from doing a movie or anything really during the pandemic. But I wanted to ask you if there was anything that you found actually positive from doing the movie through the pandemic.
Oh, that's a wonderful question. Thanks so much. Actually, I did, and I think we all found. When we started out, I think it was beginning of March last year, the shoot, and it was crazy. Like it was literally on the same day we started to shoot the film in Estonia, our neighboring country, and it was a like big headline all over the news where they said like this is like the worst area, when it comes to COVID. But luckily for us, we were in the southern parts of and those rural places. Like there was literally nobody around us, and I think it created this kind of like unity that I haven't seen in any of my other shoots. I've directed and written. I believe this was my 6th feature film, and my 2nd horror, and so I think there is this element that comes with it's kind of worldwide pandemic that we were basically just hanging together and just fighting it through every day, and of course we got so well protected as far as you can basically, and so we had masks and we had tests pretty much every day, but I think it made everything even more important for us. Just every morning we set out to do like, let's make the best horror film, the best film we can do, and every obstacle like the COVID, or we did have a few cases when shooting the film, and like it made everything more important. That was at least one positive example. But like I said, we were in the outbacks, like the most rural parts. Literally when we discussed about the swing scene, it was like we had like hard time to get on that very location. It was so outback in Estonia. So we had like even SUVs or the trucks, they had really hard time coming there. So yeah, I think there's a positive signs. I don't know if that's fair thing to say when it comes to COVID, and it has caused a lot, for all of us, globally. But but there was this kind of feeling that we're gonna just fight it through and we're gonna make the film. And as soon as we finished the shoot, like 1 month later, or 1 month and a couple of weeks later, I never felt like this kind of real relief that we all felt when we finally could say like it's a wrap and we made the the film and we finished the shoot. So everybody was crying and popping champagne at that point. I just love the ritual of go into this like dark place and meaning the cinema and just like feeling together with bunch of people you don't know, but you have that same experience and enjoyable ride, hopefully, and it's it's one of the better things in life.
Who are you talking to?
I wanted to ask you about the kid in the movie, which is of course very important for the story. We have seen many horror movies about like creepy kids. So I wanted to ask you, was there anything that you found particularly special about Tristan Ruggeri during the casting process that you said, like, this is the kid I want for the movie?
Well, you said it the best. Like it literally when we had this wonderful casting director from UK, Kate Rinsel, and she read the script and just call us back and said like, I really want to participate, and she was such a wonderful casting director, and that was the one thing I was worried about, to find, like you said, it's the boy in the movie plays a crucial part, and you just like you really want to find your the perfect kid, and he has like such a difficult, demanding role for 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid, and my first feature film was a family film where I had 8 kids, and I take nothing for granted. It's hard work, and even though enjoyable as it is, but yeah, with Tristan, it was marvelous. Like literally, I was at the office and going through the tapes, and then when I saw him, it took me like 20 seconds, and I jumped and like, oh my god, that's Tristan, that's Elliot, that's Nathan, that's him. And he understood the role better than any of us. He was like explaining me during the shoot, like, maybe is this the way I think you should do this, or do you want to do it this way? And he was like, when I remember when I was 9, like I didn't know anything, and I was just, so it was really interesting. So and I just wish him everything well, and he's doing extremely fine and getting bigger and bigger and wonderful role.
Just a couple of questions more before I let you go, but I wanted to ask you if there was like any moment or something that was like your favorite thing about shooting this movie.
Oh wow, literally, like as a director, like this was my first English language film. I've only done one horror film called Lake Bodom a couple of years ago, and so I was really keen to get back on the saddle, and because I love horror. That was the thing that I started with my friends. Like back in the day, in the 80s, early 90s, we couldn't see it because of the government system. The horror movies were heavily censored and regulated. You could only see them pretty much uncensored in the movies. So of course, as a kid, my parents, running the couple cinemas here, so I managed to see some, but in that time of internet, it was super hard to get you couldn't just like click Google something because that didn't exist. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is like every day, it's as a director and a writer, you just like it's just amazing to see the things that you've written for so many years just, happen in front of your eyes. It's one of those things that I think it's even hard to articulate and explain to people, but it's one thing to write, scenes or dialogue, but it's such a beautiful thing to actually witness them in front of your own eyes taking place, and they are so, with this kind of cast, and they are so much better than in your wildest dreams. So it was an enjoyable though really rough ride. We didn't have a big budget. We were dealing with the pandemic and really had this kind of hard shoot when it comes to the weather and everything that comes with it, and shooting a small budget horror film.
I'm also a writer, so I wanted to ask you, how long ago did the writing process begin with your partner before you started shooting the movie?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. It actually started, I believe it was it was pretty much around the time we just finished touring with Lake Bodom. I believe it was 2016. And with Alexi, we started, just talking about the obvious thing, like we need to have another, we want to do another horror film now that we get, our hands on the first one. And we were experiencing things and experimenting things and learning so much. And that's one of the wonderful things when working on a film, that you just learn so much, and you take all those experiences and you just want to do, you want to dig deeper, right? And it was 2016, I believe, when we just started talking about one of those films that really blew us, when we were, just students and kids, and that was Don't Look Now, and the other film was Changeling, and we just it was more about this feeling of those wonderful films of that era. That time that you had this wonderful filmmakers experimenting and doing these awesome films, and they were really character driven films, and they went to the psyche and subconscious, and we just felt that we would pay homage to that and try to follow their footsteps.
Why do we leave Nick there?
He is always with us. I just don't know what's real anymore.
Hi, I'm Taneli Mustonen from far north Finland, and I would like to invite all of you guys to see our wonderful horror film. I hope you enjoy it. It's called The Twin, and it's so super hard to pronounce the wonderful name that you guys have for it. But go and see it in the movies. It's beautiful film, and we're super proud of it, and couldn't be happier we can show it to you guys in Colombia. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much, Taneli. This was such a pleasure. And
likewise.
I hope to see your next movie very, very soon.
Here I am writing it on my laptop. Hopefully sooner than later. Thanks so much.
I just don't know what's real anymore.